Grace and Peace Rooted Collective. Welcome back to Awakening Rooted, where the veil is thin, the vibes are deep, and the stories will make you question everything. So if you are into the mystical, the metaphysical, or the downright explainable, you are in the right place. So I did a poll and asked what you all wanted to see next on my channel. And paranormal encounters kind of wedged its way into the lead with other things closely behind. But since it is October and we are getting close to the end and close to Halloween, I am going to do some paranormal encounters. So I know Monday's video was like spooky nurse stories, but these are actual paranormal encounters. So let's get into it.
So I'm in my hotel room and I feel like I hear something down at the end of the hallway. I keep feeling like someone's walking past. Let's see. What? It's literally 2 a.m. Like there shouldn't be anybody hanging out right here. This is really creeping me out. What the No. Shut the up. Oh my god. What the
I don't feel like she saw anything in the first place, but that person was messing with her because she was acting crazy in the hallway at 2 o'clock in the morning. You peek out at me, I'm peeking out at you.
Somebody sent me a video where they were sitting on the floor and they had something paranormal happen. I'm gonna play the video for you. Let me know what you think about it, and let me know what you would do if you were ever in a situation like this.
And it looked exactly like my vision. And immediately in my heart, like I cannot explain the feeling in my heart. Like it just felt warm, and I'm like, this is my vision. And you guys are like, wow, this sounds like such an amazing story. God is good, God is great, He is all the time, but there's more to it. And this is just, wow. Looking back, I'm like, God really, He just loves us so much. But so I secured that wedding venue. It's great. Everything's good to go. I signed the papers. I called Drew. He was like in the biggest PA school at this time. And so he could have toured with me at a test that day. And I was like, this is it. This is my vision. And so fast forward to the wedding day. Fast forward to the wedding week. The entire week of the wedding, it says it's going to pour down, storm down that whole.
What would I do? Exactly what she did. Grab my baby and get the hell up out of there.
Ghost story time, since it's October and we're in the month of Halloween. So I went so actually when you do this work, when you start to open up your third eye and you start to allow your intuition in, you can have like loved ones that passed away, and you can have other spirits that come in. For instance, when I first opened up, I was having people's loved ones come in, and it was kind of like same general like thing, like just letting them know that we're okay and stuff like that. And so also when you travel, I was talking about in one video about discarnate energies, and when you travel, you pick up other energies, right? If you can sense them. And so we did a wedding over the weekend, and I couldn't sleep in the bed because I have a hard time sleeping when I'm not in my own bed, and I couldn't sleep, and I finally dozed off, and I was in one of these dreams where I was literally astral traveling. And so I felt myself pull out of my body, and it was like I was walking in a different plane of existence. And so I was walking in the hotel room toward the bathroom, And so there's the bathroom on the right side, and then on the left side is like the sink, right? But I was hearing this like clanging of dishes on the other side, and so to my left side, I was looking to my left side, and there was like a doorway where there was like a kitchen, and there was like activity going on, like people cooking for something, right? And then I turned to my right, and to my right there was a man, and he was right in my face. He was like hanging in the doorway of the bathroom and looking right in my face, and he was a young, like in his 20s man, and he had like marks on him, and I couldn't figure out what they were, burn marks or maybe drug abuse or something like that, and they were like sores or marks all over him. And I quickly jumped up, and then that whole night I kept going into these different dreams. I was literally floating over all of these different versions. Like it just got trippier and trippier. And so anyway, so then when we came back, I realized again, I get so busy and tied up that I forgot to protect my own energy. Like I forget to ground myself into, because we have complete control over everything that's happening to us. And so I sat in here and I did a meditation, and I'm like, I don't want to focus on him because part of my mind is like, what was that story about, right? But then I'm like, no, I don't want to focus on him or that situation. And so I just did like a little clearing for him, and whether or not, because everything has free will. I don't know if, I would say even like a spirit probably has free will. And so I did a little clearing, and whether he took that or not. And then I opened my door here in my studio, in my space. And there was a quick flash of an image of a woman with dark hair. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not here for like an open door for spirits to come in. And only like when I'm working with people, like maybe their loved ones or something will come in. But I'm like, no, I don't do that. I'm not doing that. So I had to close it down. But that's my spooky, scary story for October. But again, it was scary, and it was scary in the moment, because we're always scared of the unknown, right? So it was very scary in the moment just for that flash, but then I realized like how much power I really have over the situation, and then I was fine. But yeah, so that was crazy. It was like he was right in my face, and it's either maybe it's that I can see him and he needed my presence, or like me to see him. I don't know. I don't really know, but it was quite an experience. And again, I was astral traveling all night long through all kinds of different experiences. But boo, happy Halloween.
She said boo.
One of our creepy Storytime family members, Ember, sent in this story, and it is terrifying. Ember lived in a small town in Texas, and one of the things that she loved to do for fun was to go and investigate this little graveyard nearby. She said she's not a professional or anything, but she's done it enough times that she doesn't scare very easily. She said most of the time it's just quiet nights and cold spots, and maybe every now and then there might be a glimpse of something at the corner of your eye, but nothing major. She said the place is nothing big, only a few graves and maybe some trees scattered around. There wasn't even a fence. It was pretty open, and she'd been there so many times day and night that she pretty much knew every headstone by heart. On one particular night, she said she'd been out there a while already, maybe over 30 minutes. She said at first nothing weird. She was just walking towards the back, kind of where some houses were, and then she saw a girl standing near one of the trees. She caught her off guard because this place is pretty small and open, and she would have seen if somebody was in there, even in the back. Once she sees this girl, everything kind of changed. It didn't feel safe anymore. So Ember was facing the girl, and the girl was facing Ember, and there were lights on behind the girl, so her body outline was illuminated, but it was too dark to really make out her face yet. She described her as wearing blue jeans and a blue hoodie. So Ember said she feels ridiculous because she immediately felt afraid, and she even noticed that everything around her went quiet. Even a little bit of breeze that had been going on completely stopped dead. She also wanted to reiterate that she had been doing this for so long with other people, alone, and she has never had this kind of irrational fear before. But something about this girl just felt off. However, around there, if you're investigating somewhere, it is common courtesy to make yourself known, go up and say hi, just to let the other person know that someone else is there so you don't end up scaring them or messing up their investigation. So she convinces herself she's just being ridiculous, and she's going to go up and say hi anyway. She approaches a little bit and says, hey, but they don't respond. And then she says again, hey, sorry if I distracted you. I didn't know anyone else was here. She also asked, do you live in this small town? Now, she admitted she already already knew she wasn't from around there because this place is such a small town that everybody knows everybody, but she was just trying to make some kind of conversation. And at this point, it's getting kind of weird because this girl is not responding at all. So Ember says she starts to take a step back. She also says that the way that this girl was standing was definitely not normal. Like, she was just standing there, but her whole body was really rigid and tense, not like a relaxed kind of stance. Tension is rising and Ember is even more scared now. And then this girl takes a slow step towards Ember. So another wave of fear comes over Ember and her stomach drops. It's like her brain couldn't catch up and she just took another step back. And now they're still facing each other, standing still. And then this girl steps forward again. And now Ember is like feeling like she is prey and she backs up another step. So absolutely terrified, Ember lifts her flashlight up to see what this girl looks like, and you would not believe what she describes. She said where her face should have been was completely smooth skin. There were spaces where her eyes, nose, and mouth should have been, but it was just a smooth, blank, plain skin face. And then this girl, or whatever you want to call it, starts charging at Ember. Ember whipped around and she says she has never run more fast in her entire life. She said she could hear the footsteps getting closer and closer, and Ember just kept running faster and faster towards her house. Until Ember got to her porch, she turned around and looked, and now this girl is just gone. Just quiet streets, empty neighborhood, but that weird, unsettling, still feeling still lingered in the air. So Ember is just standing on her porch trying to catch her breath, still reliving this moment in her head, thinking she has been doing this for so long and she has never been that scared in her entire life. She said she went back to check out the area the next day when it was light out, and she said she didn't really see much, but there was just this heaviness in the air that she could not shake. She says she has not gone back since. She is just too freaked out. Ember wants to know, what do you guys think about this? Has anything like this ever happened to you? Do you know what that might have been? She's going to be checking the comments, so let her know. And if you have your own creepy story time, don't forget to submit it in the email in my bio.
My mom passed away at 3:30 in the morning and then visited me that night. Here we go. Quick little background. My mom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer about 3 years ago. They gave her 2 months to live. The stage 4 was like everywhere. Like, there wasn't a place where the cancer was not. So they gave her about 2 months to live. She's a badass. So she kicked ass for like the next 2 or 3 years. And then eventually the cancer went absolutely turbo, and I got a call at 3:30 in the morning that she had passed away. So I went straight up to the hospice center. I was with her until the funeral home took her body. And, you know, I'm an only child, so I went straight into planning like all the wake and all the funeral stuff. And my mom, when she was alive, was big on signs from heaven. She was very spiritually connected. And I knew it was only a matter of time before she started showing up. So let's fast forward to that night. I was asleep and I was all alone because I was staying at my dad's farmhouse and him and his wife were away in Florida. So I was in this big old farmhouse all alone, terrified to go to sleep. But, you know, eventually sleep took me. I woke up in the middle of the night and I felt a presence. I felt something standing over me and watching me. And the only way that I can explain what I was feeling, like, I'm curled up on the bed, okay? And I feel an overwhelming presence. And the only way that I can explain it as, like, you know, when somebody's standing near you, they're not making a noise, they're not talking, they're not even breathing, but you can feel a change in the air pressure. And that is what I felt. And then what I sensed was a mother, the way that she looks down at her baby in a crib, you know, when she's just making sure they're okay in the middle of the night. And that is like the overwhelming sense that I felt. And I was, regardless of that feeling, I was scared. And I remember laying there for a long time and the feeling was just there and it wasn't going away. And like, I kind of looked. And you know how when you can see, even though it's dark, you can see where there's darker shadows than others, even in the night. And I did see, oh, I'm going to get goosebumps talking about this, the shape of a person, my mom. This was my mom, as far as I know. And it was just darker shape of a shadow than the rest of what was around. And I remember just like looking like this and then like squeezing my eyes and just saying over and over like, Mom, please go check on your brothers. They need you. Like, I'm okay. I've got this. Like, you can go. You can go. It's okay. And like, I was just like over and over in my head just saying that. And then eventually it just like, it went away. And I was like, so I was definitely awake during this. Definitely know what was there, and I think that was my mom saying goodbye. I wanted to share that with you guys because I just feel like when we pass away, our frequencies just go to a different place. And I know my mom's around me. She's made herself known in way more crazy ways, and I'm definitely going to share those signs on here with you guys, but I did want to share that little story with you because it tripped me out. She was there. She came the night that she passed away to check on me and make sure I was okay before she left. So, anyway, yeah.
Do you think that was really her mother? I would feel like if it was her mother, that there would be this sense of comfort and not a sense of fear. So I'm wondering if that first time, I know she said that her mother has made herself known to her a few times, but I'm wondering if that first time was actually her mother.
Okay, because this is slightly terrifying. This footage was captured inside of Bangkok airport by a pilot who was sat in his aircraft. He noticed something quite weird and he began recording. In this moment, you can see a connecting bridge from an aircraft. Passengers walking through in their dozens, some carrying bags, some pulling along suitcases. It all seems relatively normal, doesn't it? Until you realise that that bridge is actually empty. If you look, you can see that it is actually not connected to a plane. It's connected to nothing. So there is no way any passengers should be walking through it. The freaked out pilot then posted this video online, which made it to news sources and a lot of online speculation. The more that I watch this video, understanding that it's not connected to anything, the more it creeps me out. Is there a physical explanation, or is this something relatively dark?
I feel like it's something paranormal. You can see where it is not connected to anything, but clearly you see people walking up that ramp. I wonder if these are people who maybe died in a plane crash. I might be like jumping to huge conclusions, but that's what I was thinking. Like, these would be people who were in the airport and then the plane that they got on crashed, but for whatever reason their souls are stuck right here boarding that plane. Let me know what you think. What the fuck? Too scared to open my door.
The reason I had to move out of my flat. I was home alone.
Then what's your name then?
Smart move. And it could not answer. That was a mimic. I don't know what that thing was at at that front door. But would you be brave enough to open that door if that person kept knocking on your door? And clearly, not clearly, but I think that probably sounded like her mother. So would you open the door?
I seriously can't shake this story. It has haunted me for the last 15 years. And I can't believe I'm even thinking about it, let alone speaking it out loud right before I attempt to go to sleep. Baby, them sleep paralysis demons are gonna have a lot of ammo for me tonight, and that's what I freaking know. But either way, when I was about 13 years old, I became friends with a girl named Ashley. So one of the first times that I spent the night at her apartment, her mom told me and her the story of a little girl that had passed away there. Now, the only people that lived in Ashley's apartment was her mom, and her older sister. But at the time, her older sister didn't stay there a lot. And her mom had this hanging like swing. It was a little tiny doll swing that would hang from the ceiling. And she also had like this small glass cabinet where she had a few porcelain dolls. Don't even get me started about porcelain dolls and how creepy they are. So one of the first things that ever happened in Ashley's apartment was it was me, her, and a couple of our other friends, and we were sitting there talking. So we start talking about scary stuff that's ever happened to, you know, each of us or whatever. And I told Ashley, I was like, tell them what your mom told us. And she told them, you know, when my mom signed on for this apartment, they told her that there had been a death in that apartment in recent years, and it was a young child about 7 years old, and that she had gotten electrocuted in the upstairs bathroom. And Ashley couldn't stand to sleep alone upstairs because of it. So she tells them that, and then they're like saying a couple other little things that had happened to them. And all of a sudden, that doll sitting on the swing, hanging from the ceiling, just starts swinging and like twirling like from side to side. There were no air vents in the ceiling near that doll, and none of us were touching that doll. And it just literally started swinging at full force. And we were, you know, preteen girls, so we freaked out, took off running outside. We did not go back in until her mom got home. Now, I stayed with Ashley a lot, you know, in middle school, and there was one time, this was terrifying. But when her sister wasn't there, we always slept in her room. We stayed up pretty late just talking and hanging out, and neither one of us had like smartphones or anything like that. But we kept hearing noises coming from the bathroom, which was directly beside of her sister's room. Her mom would sleep downstairs in the living room every night, so we knew it wasn't her. We would have heard her come up the stairs. We got really freaked out and slept with the light on. And Ashley never turned the bathroom light off in that bathroom. At one point in the middle of the night, I woke up because I heard the bedroom door open. It had previously been closed, and so it jostled me about. And when I rose up, she woke up. I'm staring out into the hallway through this crack in the door, trying to see if her mom had come in there for some reason, when all of a sudden the bathroom light flickers and then goes off. I'm smacking her leg like, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Are you seeing what I'm seeing right now? And the door to her sister's room slams closed. We knew it was late, so we literally slammed our hands across our mouths to keep from screaming at the top of our lungs. I looked at Ashley and was begging her, please go wake your mom up. Please, please, please go wake your mom up. So we didn't have cell phones to check the time, but we did have the house phone. She wanted to see how close it was to the normal time her mom got up so she wouldn't be pissed that she woke her up. So where we live, we have this thing at the time called the time and temperature man. You would call this number and it would be like a robotic voice that would say the time is blah 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 and the temperature is da 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 da. So she called the time and temp man and it was 3:15 on the dot. Which if you know, you know. You don't mess around at no 3:15 in the morning. Needless to say, we didn't care about her mom getting mad about us waking her up anymore. I've never flown down steps so fast. I mean, I literally closed my eyes so that I didn't catch a glimpse of something in the bathroom. And as soon as we got to the bottom of the stairs, the bathroom light turned back on up there. If I have to have nightmares, you all do too. Anyway, have a spooky night and don't forget to tuck your feet in so the demons don't take you under the bed.
See, stuff like that makes you feel like that stuff is going to happen to you in your house. I don't know. How long did they stay there after that?
Well, my grandmother, she had a 3-bedroom apartment. It was very spacious and stuff. And my aunt and my uncle had lived with my grandmother to help her out because my grandmother had, you know, special needs. But my aunt and my uncle, they both had special needs as well. So they all were like helping each other out or what's not. Me and my sister, we always used to go to my grandmother's house because my aunt and my uncle would work. So my grandmother would be home by herself and she needed the assistance. So of course, her two grandbabies, the little faves or whatever, would come down there and help out or whatever. But I remember the specific time I went down by her house. And she had tell us as soon as we come in the house, don't go in her room. At this time, I was probably about 10. My sister was probably either 9 or 8. We're 1 year apart. And we're like, why we gotta go in your room? Because she had a nice little TV in there. And majority of the time, she would use the, you know, living room TV to watch Walker, Texas Ranger. Ain't nobody trying to watch that. So we wait until she went outside on the porch like she usually do, right? And I say I gonna watch the TV in grandma's room, while my sister says she gonna watch the TV in the living room. So I went in her room, not studying what my grandma said. I wake up, I was in the air. I was literally on my back in the air, and I looked down and I saw my body right there on that bed. Next thing that happened to me was I was hearing shuffling under the bed. Yes, in my grandmother's room. I was hearing a bunch of shuffling under the bed. You know, I see this big black hand come up and it touched the edge of the bed. And I couldn't scream, I couldn't move, I couldn't do nothing. I just stuck there in the air. Remember, it's about 2 seconds later, I hear somebody like they run into the room. And I remember I still in the air, but I feeling somebody like shaking me. I ended up waking up and I see my grandmother in my face. And all I remember is my grandmother screaming at me and she was like, didn't I tell you don't go in my damn room if I ain't in there? I get out immediately and you see me in that room. Matter of fact, I didn't go in that room for a minute. It don't matter if she were in the room, I did not want to go in that room for nothing. I eventually went in the room again after she said I could come in the room only if she in there. But an interesting thing about my grandmother's room that I never thought about until I was adult is she had 3 big mirrors in her room. Her headboard for her bed was a mirror. She had a mirror attached to her door. And then she had, what you call it? The dresser. That was a big mirror as well.
So, you know the saying, a hard head makes a soft behind. Her grandmother told her not to go in that room. Did you think she told you that for no reason at all? So that's what you get. And you learn that day.
Y'all want to hear a ghost story? Well, here we go. So a couple years back, I had this neighbor move in downstairs, and like, just to preface this man is insane. He's an older man. He does a lot of drinking, and so the only reason I know that is because late at night he would be flipping over shit, slamming doors, making all this noise. There'd be times that I would have to call my sister late at night and I'd be like, what should I do? Like, I don't know what to do, because he would be making so much noise. And unfortunately, with my apartment building, the people who live underneath me make so much fucking noise. People always talk about upstairs neighbors. For me, it's downstairs neighbors. So I would call my sister and she would be like, I don't even know if you should be calling the cops, because like he's gonna know that you're the one who did it. And I was like, right. But then we had other neighbors that would come to his door and knock on his door all night, and he would never pick up, like open the door. And so yeah, so that's like the groundwork. His vibes are just so rancid, you could just feel the dark energy. And like there would be times where I would be waking up in the middle of the night because he's yelling, like screaming at someone. I didn't know who it was because like he lives by himself, but I was like, this is scary. This man is scary. It sounds like he has women trapped up in his apartment building. Like, it always sounded like he was hitting someone. It always sounded like he was holding someone's head underneath the water. Like, it was scary. And then he just had bad vibes. And then that's when shit started happening around my apartment. Like, I would be seeing things out of the corner of my eye and I'm like, yeah, that's not what I think it is. I didn't speak about this until maybe like a year later, because I was telling my sister, I was like, yeah, you know that downstairs neighbor? I was like, I think he's like doing some shit, because like maybe he has ladies of the night coming over and he's like abusing them. Like, I literally had zero, like, I couldn't tell for sure, but like I would see dark figures in the corner of my eye. One time I was sitting on the edge of my bed and I turned the lights off and I just see this huge white orb in front of me, and it was blinding white light, and I was like, this is the most scared I've ever been, holy shit. So one day I was walking from my, you can kind of see it, this little doorway, there's a hall that connects to it. So one day I had turned off the light into my room, and then I see this like dark shadowy figure. It's like this dark, and it was a woman. I could tell it was a woman, long dark hair that was like blowing backwards, and I was like, this is not what I think it is. This is not what I think it is. And so I walked past it. I went around it. It was like standing right here. I went around it, and I was like, I don't think, like, this was the most clear I've ever seen a figure, and I was scared shitless. And so the lights were on in my living room, the lights was on in my kitchen, and I was just like, let me just slowly walk to my kitchen. Maybe that's not what I thought it was. I get into my kitchen, lights blasting, and like this thing is, this person, this figure, this entity, I don't know what it was by my fridge, just like standing, and like the lights are all on. So I was like, oh my gosh. And at that point I was like, you need to get the fuck out of here. I don't know what you are, I don't know who you are, but you need to get the fuck out of my apartment. And it left, and it never came back. I do want to add that this like spirit entity, whatever, like it was radiating sadness. That's what I felt. I felt just, it wasn't scary, it wasn't spooky. I mean, obviously I was scared, but it wasn't like a threatening, menacing vibe. It was just complete sadness. Like it was sad. If I wasn't so scared, I probably would have been like, oh my gosh, what happened? But it was just, I felt like this thing had a tragic backstory. I say all that to say that I'm not the conduit for anything like that. If you have passed over, if you're trying to connect to somebody through me, and that's the thing, in my family, people always said that I was the one that like encountered all these weird instances, because I have like so many fucking stories. But that was the first time I saw like a real person figure, and it didn't stop after that. No, it didn't stop, but it wasn't as like clear. Like that was clear, and it scared the shit out of me. And I did a lot of cleansing. I did a lot of like just say, I was like, if you're a good or bad spirit, get the fuck out of here, because I can't do it. I don't want to be that person. Like, I don't know, it scares me. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know. But did my neighbors stop all that activity? No, it got worse. He was super loud. He smokes like a chimney. I would be able to hear his conversations word for word. And like, I will say recently, like in the past 6 months or so, it has like lessened. Like, it doesn't sound like he has women coming over anymore. He still smokes like a madman, but like he's not making as much noise. And I think that's because he's gotten many warnings from management, and so he's like chilled the fuck out. He's not getting drunk as much and like knocking shit over and slamming doors and all this. But yeah, that was my ghost story.
I wonder if she lived upstairs from like a serial killer or something. Or I wonder if he was down there fighting demons himself. Whatever.
So
So let me tell you guys about my experience at the Whaley House. It is America's most haunted house. My wife surprised me with a trip there last September actually. And so we go to the town, Old San Diego, which is super, super creepy at night. The house itself was built in the 1800s. It's seen a lot. It's been a lot. It was the family's store, courthouse. It was a bunch of stuff. So we are on this tour and we're going through the house. Like I said, everything's like original. It's a museum, so they kept it up and everything. And the lady's telling us everything about the house. We're in this one particular room, the group of us, and she's telling us about the house, and then there's a giant boom. There's a boom, like the floor shakes. At least where we are, the floor shakes. So we scream or whatever, and then she's like, who's brave? And for whatever reason, I raised my hand. I was like, me. And she's like, okay, so go into the next room alone, and then the group will meet you. So I go into the next room, which is this room here. It's like a dining room, but there's like these windows that open up to a kitchen type of area. So I'm in there alone for a little while, maybe like 5 to 10 seconds before the group comes with me. And I start snapping pictures, just randomly snapping pictures while I'm in there alone. I don't review anything until later on. So after the tour is over, nothing else really happened, but we're outside, and she's talking about one of the many deaths that happened on the property, but one that happened outside. So the tour is over, and it's an opportunity for us to ask questions and stuff to the tour guide. So we were like, you know, what was that bang? Like, I know you guys probably throw in some stuff to scare people, but she was like, that wasn't me. She was like, usually, you're right, sometimes we do throw in stuff, but that wasn't me. So me and my wife were looking at each other like, okay. So the night continues. We stay in the town, and we are sitting on the steps of this hotel, which is also presumably haunted. And I was like, oh yeah, my pictures. So I start reviewing the pictures that I took at the Whaley House, and I come across this one, right? So this, I'm gonna step out here. This is that room that I was in alone. If you can see around the edge, that's a window that opens up into a kitchen. But what's crazy about this picture to me and others that I've shown is this right here. I don't know if you could tell what it is or what you see. I know what I see, and I know what others that I've shown see. I'm interested to know what you guys see, but it did feel super, super creepy in that area for the small time that I was in there. I think the door closed behind me, so I was legit in there alone when I took these pictures, but nothing or no one was there. I want to know what you guys see. I'm gonna tell you what I see. Actually, I'm gonna just tell you what I see. I see, and what others see, is a man, head right there, in a suit with a white shirt under and a black tie. You tell me if that's what you see. But that's, the head's right there, shoulders, tie, neck, and then it kind of just loses its bottom. So it's kind of like a floating torso, if you will. But I did take another picture in this area, not from the exact same angle, but nothing's there. So yeah, I want to go back. I want to do some more investigating of the entire town, actually. But yeah, that's my little story of the Whaley House.
There is clearly a man in that window, torso, head and torso. I was saying that before she said, what do you see?
Disclaimer, I don't suggest that you watch this video at night by yourself or while you're working night shift. In an ICU in Kentucky, there was this patient that was experiencing all sorts of hallucinations. They have a video camera in the ICU, which is pretty common now, and they captured this on camera. Does that not look like some sort of demon on top of the patient? The patient died just 3 hours after the nurse took this picture. What is that?
So this is an incredible photo. We got two things happening. One, glitch in the camera, something weird with the lighting. Definitely a man-made experience influencing it, but that is happening because a spirit did enter the room. Two things can be true. What I'm feeling is the bottom part of that is the being. The top half is something else. It's some sort of glitchy thing. And it's trying to take advantage of those that are in somewhat of a weakened space as they pass over. This patient was fine, moved to the light, never bothered by it. But these dark beings tend to do that because they are frustrated, angry, not sure why they're there. A lot of times, very scared to move to the other side because they know they weren't that great in this life. Definitely made its way into this room, causing the glitch.
Are you sure that top half is not the being also?
A young woman named Olivia Conkle says that some very strange things have been happening at the apartment that she shares with her boyfriend. Doors in the apartment often just open and close all on their own. One night, the couple returns home and sees something truly horrifying that seems to be staring out of their apartment window. The couple looks around their apartment, but there's just nothing there.
We're about to go in. I don't think I've ever been more scared in my life. I don't even have any words.
But the paranormal activity in their home seems to be getting worse every day. One night, Olivia is all alone when this happens.
Now, move out of that apartment for one thing. I hope that this video gets to stay in because that man's voice sounds like a TV show that I used to watch on I think the Travel Channel. So this may be copyrighted, but I hope it gets to stay in. Nope. I'm completely skeptical of that clip. First of all, when you first saw that black figure, I would have been out of there. But you never went in the bathroom. You just sat in that one spot. And you sat there. You never acted like you were afraid of it. You just acted like you wanted to get it on your camera or on your phone. So I'm completely skeptical of that one.
While looking around for Mom, this happens. Someone or something scares the living daylights out of him. He appears to see whatever it was that scared him, despite no one being there. But upon looking closely at this video, something was actually there. It was immediately after her son started running back into the house that a partial figure is seen. You can barely make out the figure before it disappears completely. Neither Mom nor anyone in the family could explain this, but they were definitely spooked. She explains that one night, after returning home from work, her son came out of the house to greet her. He always does this whenever she comes back from work. She would honk her car horn while pulling into the driveway to let him know she was here. But one night, while her son walked outside to see if she was coming in, this is captured.
That is crazy.
Demons are real. So quick story time.
Earlier today, I was in Philadelphia at the train station waiting for my Amtrak train to come to New York, and all the trains were like delayed or canceled. There's this young woman who walks past me. She looks me up and down. I notice because I'm very observant, hyper aware of my surroundings. And then she walks away. I go in the middle to wait for the train. I'm looking at the timetable, and she walks up next to me, and she's like, oh, that's a really nice bag. So I had on like this Louis Vuitton bag. So she's like, is that real or fake? Which I don't know why she asked me that. So I was like, it's fake. She was like, oh, okay. So she goes on to tell me like her whole life story. And I'm like, this girl's either going to try to scam me, rob me, or attack me. So she tells me how she has an assault charge. She's on the run from Jersey. She looks clearly disheveled. You can tell she has a hoodie on, but you can tell her hair is like completely matted. She tells me how her mother has scammed her and has her name written on all these bills and all this stuff. And she's speaking, and she's not really speaking coherently. And she's telling a story, and she's like going in circles. So I'm like, in my mind, I need to pray for this young lady. So I let her talk for a little while, and then I stopped her and I said, is it okay if I pray for you? Mind you, she just shared with me her whole life story. And she told me that the person that she attacked shape-shift into someone else who was her enemy, which is why she attacked them. So clearly there was something going on beyond what I could see and anyone could see in the natural. This girl was being tormented and oppressed. So again, after letting her speak for a while, I look at her and I say, can I pray with her? And she's like, so in my mind, I'm like, why the apprehension when you just told me your whole life story? Because she was looking at me as if she didn't trust me, but yet she just divulged all this information to me. So she was like, it depends on what you pray. So I knew I was going to pray in the name of Jesus, but clearly them demons did not want to hear the name of Jesus. So I said, I can understand you may not trust me, but I can share with you the things that I'm going to pray. Do you want me to share with you what the Lord shared with me? And what I was going to tell her is that I can sense that she was dealing with a spirit of torment. And she was like, no, I don't want to know. I said, okay. So she was like, well, why do you need to pray? I'm telling you about what's going on with me. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to sit here and have a long conversation with you about what you're dealing with. But clearly you're not just dealing with natural things, you're dealing with spiritual things. And in order for the things that you're dealing with to be resolved, you need divine intervention, which is the reason why I want to pray. Then she asked me what my religion was and if I was a Christian. And I said yes. And she was like, I don't want you to pray for me. I can pray for myself. And then she walked away. So as she's walking away, I'm like, can I know your name? She's like, I'm not giving you my name. And the Holy Spirit automatically said legions, because there are many, y'all. There is something about the name Jesus. I could have said any other religion and she would have clearly been open. But the reason that she decided to run away is because those demons that she was being oppressed by did not want to leave. I don't know what the girl's plan was. I don't know what she tried to do to me, because even as she walked away and left where I was, I saw her circle back. She didn't come where I was. She came like kind of like a few feet from me, and she was like looking at people, like specifically targeting certain people. In that moment, you know, my hope would have been for her to be free from whatever was tormenting her. But I'm just grateful that she did not try to do whatever it is she attempted to do, because even without saying the name Jesus, she knew that there was a connection. Them demons knew, and they wasn't really with it. Spiritual warfare is real, guys. Like, there is truly power in the name of Jesus. And as someone who has been in deliverance ministry, I see the power and the authority that we as children of God have when we call on the name of Jesus. Those demons can't stand it.
Ooh.
I'm gonna show you this really creepy video I found. Just watch what happens.
What's that? What's happening? What is that? What is this? Can you stop playing? Can you leave this toy? Can you stop?
No. That can't be real, right?
Sleep now. Come on.
right? Tell me what you think about this video. This is the person who originally found the video.
I don't know. Ooh, I wanted to believe it. That thing peeking around the corner killed it for me, though.
It's just really been tripping me out. It's been doing this since the solar eclipse, I would say. And I don't really believe in ghosts. But this shit is really fucking with me. Look at this. It just stops. There ain't nothing going on. Look. What the what the actual bro, there's no way. Wait, I'm gonna leave the light on. What the shit's really freaking me out, y'all. If you've ever seen anything like this before, please let me know. Alright, so I've been taking some of you guys' advice. I got my holy water right here. I'm gonna insert the holy water into my water gun. Alright. And I got I'll just put it in the thing. I got the cross like you guys said, dude. I didn't really have any real wood, but see, the thing is, I don't even know if I'm actually hitting my op. Like, I feel like it's coming from over here. It don't do it when the door is closed. Like, it does not do it. I look stupid as oh my god. I need to get out the house.
First of all, if you noticed that it stopped knocking when you open the door, leave the door open so you can get some peace. And of course it's not going to do it when the door is closed when you're in there.
Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable but is entirely true.
This trend was made for me. I have had a handful of experiences, but we're going to focus on the first one that I ever had. So where I grew up primarily was like a community with townhomes, so like they all look the same, they're all connected, you get it. And when we moved in, it was a brand new build, so no one else had ever lived there, and I do not remember an ounce of activity prior to this day. So I was probably 11 or 12, and we had a rare moment where I was left home alone. And so I am trying to take a nap on our love seat, but I want to reiterate to you that I was not asleep at all. And so I'm laying on my side, eyes closed, and I roll over onto my back, eyes still closed, and I lay there for probably a few minutes. And then I open my eyes, and this close from my face, okay, is a man staring at me. He did not look like a ghost. He looked very real, like flush in the face. He was a white guy, short dark hair, short dark trim beard, and ice blue eyes. I could pick this man out of a lineup to this day. This happened, I'm almost 32. I was like 12 when this happened. And so I think I'm getting kidnapped because he looks so real. So we are just, I am eyes bugging out of my head. I am so freaked out. I'm blinking, he's not going away. And so I'm like, oh, fate is sealed. I don't even want to see what's about to happen to me right now. So I pull my covers over my head after probably a minute of us making eye contact. And I just wait. Because again, he looked so real. So I wait and I wait and I probably lay there for a couple of minutes and nothing is happening. And I don't hear anything. Like, I don't hear breathing. I don't hear footsteps. I don't hear any kind of movement. And so when I take the blanket back off, he's gone. I run around that house and I check every window and every door, and everything is locked from the inside. Nothing is broken. There is no way that he could have gotten in there, period. But he couldn't have gotten in there without me hearing him, and he couldn't have left without me hearing him. Because I was right next to the door to our backyard. So like if somebody's coming in, like that's definitely how they're coming in. And nothing. I think what was the most odd about that whole thing was the way he was looking at me. It was not this like menacing, scary look. It was kind of like a, what are you? Type of thing. But I was so scared because again, I think I'm getting abducted right now. So that was the only time I ever saw him in that form, as like a full body apparition, if you will. After that, I started seeing shadow people in that house regularly, all of the time. I don't know why. I think I was seeing him as a shadow person because it felt the same. It felt like a male, but it didn't feel like a scary, they want to hurt me. But I was also the only one seeing it, to my knowledge, that I know of. And I do have some stories about that if you want to hear, but it's kind of odd the way that they choose you, you know?
And indeed, you were chosen. Girl, I wonder. See, I love movies like Poltergeist, so I wonder if that house or that complex was built over a graveyard. That's the only thing that I can think, because she said it was a brand new build and they were the first ones to live in it. Something was on that land that those houses were built on.
The video I'm about to show you is genuinely one of the most convincing and terrifying video footage evidence I've seen of a ghost or whatever this is. Check it out.
The fourth or fifth time I had watched the video, I noticed something in the corner of the room, which is actually my daughter's room. So I screenshotted it and I just zoomed in on it. My heart just dropped. I could feel my face, all the blood in my face ran. I mean, it scared me. It just looked like somebody watching me. I didn't sleep that night.
Here is a nice little screenshot of that in case you missed it. Yeah, that dude saw that in his house. Can you imagine seeing that? I would leave so fast, so fast. You would never ever see me in that house again, because that looks like a person with like a dead person. Like, I don't even know, but that looks like a humanoid thing, right? That's upside down. Like, I can't even look at it anymore. It freaks me out so bad.
I've seen that video before, like a long time ago, but always said, hell no. And he said that was his daughter's room. That would no longer be my daughter's room. That would no longer be our house. We would be packing up and getting out of there.
One of you guys tagged me in this video, so I want to show everyone. Let's all become closer. Let's be in this together. This video is in Spanish, so I want to kind of explain what's happening throughout. This is at a children's hospital. Where are you going? No, stay. So it's late at night, and these nurses are encountering something really weird. So they're doing checkups on all their patients when one of the nurses comes into the room where the girl nurse is, but he was acting really strange. So she starts recording and walking towards him because she's like, what are you looking at? What's going on? That's when they both see a balloon that is coming down the hall. And the man explains how this balloon had followed him and at one point even like stuck onto his arm. And I like the girl nurse because she's more of like, let's figure it out. Let's not say it's paranormal. And she was like, what if it's just like static, you know, that's sticking to you? But that is when the balloon is coming closer and closer to him. And let you watch this.
¿Qué pasa? Bueno, Zaira,
que se me acuerda, mi esposo conoce y tenía otra. Cuando vine para acá, se me empezó a pegar, boludo. Me pegué un cagazo y ahora lo veo.
Esa es la estática, boludo. Está lejos.
Está viniendo para acá.
Ay, la concha de la lora.
It's like still coming towards
Me
them.
dijo que le tocaron la pierna, que le apretaron la pierna. Ay, mierda, se viene para acá.
Pero se viene para acá, pelotuda. No. ¿Está prendido el aire algo?
¿Qué sé yo? Sí, creo que sí.
Tomátelo.
No, me fui la mierda, la
No,
concha
la
de
concha.
la lora. Ahí está. Se pasa largo, boludo.
¿Ve?
Now, I don't know if you guys were reading the captions, but at one point, the guy even asked the girl, did they turn the AC on? Like maybe it's the air. And at this point, obviously, the girl nurse is getting a little bit freaked out, and she remembers how the girl on bed 5 told her that something touched her leg. Also, the way the balloon just like cuts the corner into that room, I would have been freaking out too. I'm sure a lot of creepy shit happens at hospitals, but like imagine being scared and then you're in charge of like the kids there overnight. I could never. What do you guys think?
I think it's Pennywise. It's Pennywise. Why is it always a red balloon? And that shit came around the corner after them too. That reminds me of another video I saw a while back, that this guy was a janitor in a school and this red balloon followed him too. What is going on with these red balloons?
This is what y'all wanted. I'm back with part 2 of me encountering a ghost in New Orleans. In case y'all don't know, I'm Jazz, born and raised in New Orleans. I have encountered ghosts, vampires, heard stories my whole life, all of the whole 9 about New Orleans. Last video I posted that she commenting on went crazy because I told a story about how I encountered ghosts on a ghost tour. Or some type of demon. I don't know what you want to call it. Also in that video, I told y'all that I had video proof of what I encountered, but I didn't upload it in the video because I couldn't find it. I found it, y'all. I found the video proof. So if you want to see the video proof, you saw this video from last time, you got to watch this one because I got the proof and I'm going to put it in the video. I'm about to just sum up the last video real quick, real fast. All right, as y'all know, I got a girlfriend who's from Memphis, right? Her family like to come down here and they like to do all the tourist stuff. They like to go on ghost tours. They like to go see our cemeteries. They like to go to the French Quarters. They like to go on alligator tours. Like they like to do all this shit. I don't care. I'm born and raised in New Orleans, but when they come down here, I gotta do it with them. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta do the whole 9 with them. Whatever like that. So anyways, real quick, real fast. I go on a ghost tour with my sister, little brother. We called him JR in the last video. We go on the ghost tour having a good old time. We left the ghost tour crying. Well, he did. All right, y'all. When we pull up to the ghost tour, at this point of the tour, we enter a cemetery. But before we enter the cemetery, the ghost tour guide, Cajun lady, told us that when we enter the ghost tour, when we exit the ghost tour, we gotta walk out backwards so we don't attach no ghost that's trying to leave the cemetery to us. So you gotta walk out backwards. I don't know how true it is. It's just what she said. Anyways, upon us entering the the cemetery, she give us some tools. I have the video proof of the tools. I'm going to insert a picture. Somebody in the comments told me they call dorsal rods or dorsey rods, something like that. But these tools are used to communicate with spirits or ghosts. That's what these tools are used for. They metal rods that look like an L shape, like this, right? And when you're communicating with the ghost or the spirits or whatever like that, they will sway back and forth, or they'll sway in the same direction. And that's how you get the answers. And I think swaying in the same direction is I want to say no, swaying in opposite direction is a yes. I have the video. I'm going to insert it. Just stay with me so I can explain the story real quick. Okay, she give us the tools, right? I get a set of tools. They get a set of tools. So I'm asking my questions, thinking this shit all a game. Like, of course the ghost tour is not real. Like, it's New Orleans. They doing this for the tourists, just going with the whole cliche of New Orleans. That's what I'm thinking. Kinda. But anyway, so I get the tools and I'm asking my questions, you know what I'm saying, playing, going along with it. They get their tools, they asking their questions. Everything that I'm asking, I'm really talking to, well, I'm thinking that I'm talking to people that have passed away that I know. But I'm getting all the questions that validates me in a good way, is the best way to say it. I'm not getting no crazy answers back. Okay, when my girlfriend brother get the tools, he asks questions to some unalive family members and he get bad answers. He actually get answers that's so bad by the end of the tour he crying. Okay, but before we get to the end of the tour, I'm not gonna tell y'all what he asked. I'm gonna just tell y'all, out of respect for him, I'm gonna just tell y'all that he asked a certain question about a certain family member, and when he got that answer, it was not the answer that he wanted to would have liked to hear. Of course, it was kind of heartbreaking, I guess. But we were shocked. We thought this was all bullshit. Okay, so I take the tools. I don't know this family member from a can of paint, but I asked the question for him just to see if the tools is going to do the same thing or like they wired to do the same thing, trying to see if it was a scam. I asked the same questions, get the same answer he got. All right, my girlfriend, she do it. Ask the same question about that same family member, get the same answer he got. Okay, we went a step further because we so shook. Because I'm thinking this was a game. We call a family member in Memphis, put it on speaker, tell them to ask this question about this family member, say their name, and they got the same answer that he got. Now, when I was asking the questions about my family or whatever like that, I didn't get that answer. So at this point, we thinking these things is working. Let me show y'all the video. This the video. When they cross paths, that means yes. That's the ghost or spirit saying yes when they cross paths. When they go apart, that's a no. So y'all, I wanted to do a voiceover. She is not moving her fingers. She is not making these things move. That's why we all did it, because we like, bitch, you making this move. Like we was thinking all type of stuff, so we all tried. These things moved on their own, y'all.
First of all, I understand it was a ghost tour. Why would you think it was fun and games? These things are not fun and games. And then you use these little dowsing rods. This stuff is not fun and games. And you were not ready, nor was your girlfriend or her brother. Alright, you all, so we have come to the end of this video. My room is completely dark. My ISO is at 6400 at this point because it's dark in here. It's like, what time is it? 5:54, so the sun is going down. But let me know which one of these videos you enjoyed the most, which one creeped you out the most, and please share this video with someone who likes paranormal encounters. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Hype this video, and until next time, stay awakened and stay rooted. Peace.